This is your Sapnil Bhartiya, and we are back with our yearly prediction video series. And today we have with us once again Tony Falco, VP of Marketing at Hydrolix. Tony, it's great to have you back on the show.
It's a pleasure to be back, Swap.
I would love to just remind our viewers, what is Hydrolix all about?
Hydrolix is a data platform. We call ourselves a streaming data lake. It basically, we've combined the event stream processing capabilities that you're familiar with something like a Flink with a data storage, very flexible data storage that uses decoupled object storage, so S3, Azure Object Storage. So you get high performance on ingest, and you get high performance on your query, and they run separately from the low cost storage. So we're sort of a combination of high performance and low cost that is finding great success right now in a lot of log intensive use cases. That's one thing I want to stress. We're 100% focused on logs, and my predictions really are all going to revolve around the centrality or lack of centrality of real-time analysis of logs for observability, SIM, lots of cybersecurity use cases, and in some cases where we're not seeing an interest in that. And the company itself, just put a plug for the company, we have partner relationships with Akamai and AWS, and Akamai last year, we grew from 40 to 380 customers with Akamai, and we saw a 9x growth in revenue. So it's really exciting times. We like to say that Akamai's Traffic Peak product is the fastest growing observability product in the world, and we hope to keep that going in 2025.
Now it's time for you to grab your crystal ball and share your predictions with us.
I predict that everything I predict will come true. How's that? No, seriously. In thinking about this and really grounding it in the experience we've seen, we think that while companies are going to continue to be reactive, just to set the table, talking to an analyst recently, they've been following log storage growth for 15 years, and they've seen consistently around 40% growth in log storage year over year, which is tremendous. An explosive growth in log storage, and that's doubling almost every 2 years. And but the fact is that even with that track record of growth, we haven't seen people say, "Wait a second, I need to start thinking 5 years out." It's still very reactive. And as much as I'd like to say, our marketing is going to get people to think a different way, I think that just the reality of people trying to run big organizations, generating lots of data, you're still going to see people hitting walls and then reacting and trying to get the next generation of log processing and log storage in place. I'd like it not to be the case, and anybody who sees this, I'd urge, think about what your needs are going to be 3 or 4 years from now, because you really need to start building that now. And so that the prediction, if I want to summarize it, is companies will continue to be reactive, but they are beginning to understand the tremendous growth that they see in logs. Along with that, I think if you look at the revenue growth of companies in the early phases, if you look at Datadog, at Splunk, that you see 80 to 100% growth in the first several years as they scale up to $1 billion. And I think being on a similar trajectory, it's quite interesting to see, again, that same analyst benchmarked a single customer and saw them go from $40,000 a year in 2009 to I think $2 million or $4 million in ARR in 2024. So the growth in both the volumes of logs and the expenses have been explosive. And I think that leads me to conclude, and we've seen a lot of evidence, that status quo is going to change. People need to get their log costs down desperately. And one of the biggest conversation starters for us is that cost savings. And that's where object storage is going to just take over. I think the decoupled data lake architecture is going to be table stakes going forward.
Thank you for sharing these predictions with us. Now, what kind of challenges you see are going to be there this year for the whole industry?
I think the entire industry is going to face the challenge of separating, and it's so easy to make this prediction, but separating Gen AI hype from the utility of of machine learning and AI. It continues to be an issue. What we're going to see, I think, is we need to message on the value of plain old machine learning algorithms against log data. Gen AI has its place, and people are getting a lot of value out of that. But when it comes specifically to operations, the challenges are going to be to scale the operations to handle the data volumes you need for AI. So there's an operational problem there, and then finding ways to apply machine learning algorithms to operations with things like fraud detection and anomaly detection. And right now, the space is so taken up with discussions around Gen AI and those sorts of summarization use cases and content generation use cases that it's very difficult to have that narrow but very practical conversation about machine learning and AI in an operational context.
Can you talk about, this is more or less like a twist here, is that what are the things that you would love to see happen this year, but for sure it won't happen?
We've seen, so to set the table, we see a lot of companies in the consumer packaged good, like the best brands in the world, using optimized observability, using our product directly. And we also see, so the biggest brands you could think of in finance, in luxury goods, in travel. And then on the other side, we see a bunch of streaming companies using our product, OTT, connected television. And in between those two is Adtech. And so you'd think that Adtech, which is trying to deliver ads from these big brands to the streamers, would be incentivized to also adopt real-time observability to make sure that they're delivering high-quality ads to the end users, that they're actually maximizing revenue for their customers and for themselves. But there is a cultural resistance. There's this idea that real-time is expensive, and so we struggle to get Adtech to embrace. And so I think the challenge will be while we're seeing widespread adoption in the brands and in the platforms that are distributing the content to real-time observability, to real-time analytics and observability and security, the monetary engine in the center will be slow to take that up. It's not going to be universally slow, but we're seeing this sort of attitude of almost indifference. And what I would like to be wrong about, if there's one thing I'd like to be wrong about this year, it's this prediction.
Looking at these predictions, challenges, and of course, all this wishful thinking, what is going to be the focus of Hydrolix this year?
We are going to be adding new cloud partners. So we're going to, expand from, with Akamai and with AWS, we're going to add additional cloud partners. We're going to really focus on creating a unified brand, enabling brands to understand what's happening with their customers from origin to edge. So tying together, visibility into the customer experience everywhere that your content is distributed or your customer is experiencing the brand. So just increasing visibility with which means practically bringing more data sources in, and we want to see more places where our streaming data lake is running, and that means partnering with some of the on-prem or private cloud technologies. So we will be focused. We joined the Open Infra Foundation, and we started to get active with them and the OpenStack community. So we see really just expansion of where this is available and more data sources. And concomitant with that is that we're going to be growing the team, and we're looking for great people in sales and engineering to join us. So 2025 is going to be a year of expansion and consolidation.
Tony, thank you so much for taking time out today, joining me and share your predictions with us. And as I said, I will hold you accountable. I will get you back on the show next year to see how many of your predictions turn out to be true. But thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to chatting with you again. Thank you.
As always, it was a pleasure. Thank you.